All right, let's let's begin. Create attributes. This will be name. Then the size of the data is 200. We're going to make it required and then create it. So that's the first attribute. The second attribute will be we're going to add category later on because that is going to be a relationship between the product collection and category collection, because we want to be able to associate the tables together, or the collections with each other. So for now we're going to leave the category attributes. The next thing is the product price. Okay, that will be a float. So the price, the key is going to be, the attribute key is going to be price. Right, the minimum and maximum, we're going to just leave that. Those are optional. So, but then we're going to make it required. Yes, and then create it. The next thing is the product. There are times when you need to have you need to choose the colors. If it is a clothes shop, for instance, someone will want to choose the particular color they want, so we can have that as an attribute as well. So, but I will leave that for now. We can always add it later. What I will add right now is the description of the product. That will be string. So description, we're going to have two description. One is going to be short and the other one is going to be the main description. So this is going to be description. Let's call it short description. Short description. All right, and this is going to be around, let's say 200, and then it's going to be required and create it. Then the long description, that is just going to be description, or let's call it long description, long underscore description. So that would be around 500 to, let's say, around 2000 words, 2000 or even more. Let's call it 3000, because we might want to write a lot of words. So this will also be required and create. Then the images, we're going to use URL as the image here. So, and it's going to be an array of images. So we're going to select an array so we can have several images for a particular product. So it's going to be called images. So, and that is it for now. We can add other attributes later, but basically we will need this. There are other attributes that we are going to add later on. So let's return back to the Next.js. So right now we are here. We're going to create some components by using ShadCN, and to create components we need to, with ShadCN, we need to install ShadCN. Let's go to ShadCN and install it. ShadCN UI. ShadCN UI. Okay, so it is opened and there are several components that we can add here, but let's go to the documentation. We want to use it on, you see, these are different frameworks where you can use ShadCN. We are interested in Next.js, so let's click on Next.js. So to actually use it in Next.js, you would need to run this command, which is npx shadcn at latest init. So we can copy this, take it to the terminal. We can stop this terminal from running, or we create another terminal here if we do not want to interrupt that one. Let's create another terminal. So, but that means that we'll have to cd into the shop directory as we used to. So cd shop, because that's where the next application dwells. So cd shop, and then within here we can click. And mind you, if you copy something and you want to paste it in a command line, you do not use the regular control V. The best thing to do here is to right click with your mouse pad, or if you're using a regular mouse, just right click. It will paste that thing that you have copied, and then it will go ahead and run the command. So while it is running, let's go back to ShadCN. There are other things that we will need to do. So after running this command and then ShadCN is installed, we will need to start adding each component that we need per time. So for example, if we need a button, we will need to run npx ShadCN at latest add button. This will add the button for us. And then this is an example of how you can create a simple button and use it in your project. So I believe that, okay, it's asking us whether it should proceed. So let's just say Y for yes, and then it will continue and install ShadCN and set it up for us in our project. So while that is on, let's go to the components and take a look at some component that we will use in these projects. We're going to use card components to display each product. So let's type card. So this is the card that we're going to use, um, something similar, but then we will change the look later on. This is an example of a card component. So but we are going to change, it, the appearance and the several things that about it, but this is basically the card component, and the code snippet is here. So if you want to use this, you have to copy this entire thing. A card component has card content, card description, card footer, card header, and card title. These are the things that we can actually work on to present each product on the product page. So right now, once that is done, okay, it's asking us to set up the color scheme. Okay, I'm going to just use neutral. So, and is going to, okay, the reason for this is because Next.js 15 is still new and most packages are not compatible with it yet. It's not stable yet. So it's asking us whether to force it or to use the legacy paired dependencies. So you can either use either of these two to install it, since it is not stable yet with um I mean, it's still new, and React 19 too is new. So we will need to use legacy paired dependency. So that will install it for us. So if you come in contact with such prompts, that's what you should select, and then it will install it for you. So let's go back to the components. Actually, the truth is we can create all of these things ourselves, the components ourselves, but the aim of this is to enhance the speed of your development. By the time you see components that are already created, all you just need to do is to take them and use them in your code. It helps you to concentrate on other things rather than just um, um, creating components from the scratch, and that will take much of your time. So using ShadCN can actually enhance our development time. It can enhance our development work. So let's go back to the, it's almost done. Okay, yes, finally it is done. So now that we now have ShadCN, we can start adding the ShadCN components one after the other. So the one we want to use at this time is the card component. And why do we want to use it? We want to use it to display our products. So right now I'm going to go to let's go to preview. Okay, we need to add the card components first off. Let's search for it again, card, and click on it. Okay, we're already here. Okay, this is how to add it. We can use this command npx ShadCN at latest add card. So let's copy this and take it to the command line, paste it, and then it will run that command for us and add the card components for us as one of our components, which we can now reuse. So the good thing about it is that once the component is added to your project, you can use it anywhere. You can reuse it again and again. And that's the beauty of reusable components. So by the time we are done, okay, I think, yeah, it is done. You can see it automatically creates for us a components folder. Within it, you see the card txx. That's the components that it has created for the card component from ShadCN. So we can actually import it into any of our pages and use it the way we want. So right now, we're also going to create our own reusable components. So for it not to be mistaken with that of the ShadCN, I'm going to create another folder. I'm going to call that folder reusables. Okay, reusable, usable components. Or let me just call it my reusables, my reusable, my reusable, because I don't want it to be mixed with that of ShadCN. It is possible for me to create it in this place, but then I want to be able to identify those components from ShadCN different from the ones I create myself. So within this my reusable, and before this can actually work, there's something we need to do here, because remember we are using Tailwind CSS, so the styles might not affect what is here. So if we really want it to affect it, there's something we need to do inside next. Okay, not next config now. All right, let's just continue. I will Okay, let's continue. We're going to create a component called product items for each product. So the component is going to be product item. And this, I told you in our previous lecture that there's a difference between a component and a page. Even though you use functions to create both a normal page and a component. So the difference is that a page will always be in a file that is called page.tss. That's if you're using the app router. While the regular component that is just a reusable code can be named anything you want, but it must begin with capital letter. You can see that P is capital letter. So that's product item, not image, product item dot txs. So that is it. Now I want to introduce you to a very useful extension. You know, we used to create function ourselves, but there is an easier way to create functions without necessarily typing everything out yourself. You can use what is called React Native code snippet. Yes, once you go to extension, look for ES7, and then look for React Native Redux, React code snippets. This one I have installed it already, so that's why you're not seeing install. I already have it installed, so I can use it. So I can actually create the function myself, or I use this short key because I already have the React Native code snippet installed as an extension. So you can just type RAFCE, RAFCE. It will now give us suggestions. The first one is React Arrow Function Components. Then there is React Arrow Function Component Export, which is what I want. So I can actually click that, and then you can see this is exactly what I would have typed if I decided to type it myself, but it is going to give it to me out of the box. So you can use that as well to enhance your development work. So right now we now have our product item. So within this product item, we want to have a card component in it. We want to have a card that will showcase or that will represent a particular product. So right now, I'm going to just go to the return instead of having this product item. I'm going to have a card. I'm going to return a card. Yes, I'm going to return a card here. So just return a card. But before you can return the card, you have to import the card into this component. How do you import? Just type the word import, and then you are going to specify the directory or the location of the particular thing you want to import. First of all, give it a name. You're importing card within a curly brace, card. Then that will be from card from then let's open curly invert and quotes. Within the quotes, we can use the alias import. Then we are going to target components. Within the components, we're going to target UI, and then within the UI, we're going to target card. So fantastic. So we've been able to import card. So we can use that card right now, but the way we use it is going to be it's going to be an element, a JSX element. So it's going to be more like you're typing a div, or you're typing a paragraph, and so on. So this is just JSX. So, and it must close because it's a self-closing tag. So this is it. We now have our card within the product item. Fantastic. So now there is something we need to do, because this card needs to pass some values to the um, okay, because it's going to be a reusable one. We need to actually pass some values, like the product name, the product images, those things that we created. Although we are not using the database right now, we've not started using it, but then the way things are done before we start using the database, I really want to show you how it works. We can actually pass variables or items from one component to another, but it must be a parent-child relationship, or child and parent, because a child cannot pass item to the parent. It is the parent that can pass item to the child. What I mean by parent-child, for instance, as we have imported card into this product item, the card within the product item is a child of the product item. So the product item now can easily pass something to the child and the child will present it. So that's exactly what I mean. So I want to demonstrate that to you so that you can see what I am talking about.